Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 80, and it is a special day in my life because God breathed life into me this morning, and He woke me up this morning, and He has provided me with 31 years free from addiction and all its related attitudes, ideas, behaviors, and actions. He also allowed me to be surviving 80 days along with 7 other family members from COVID-19. So, yes, this is my anniversary, February the 23rd of 1990 was the day I entered into the light of recovery and did not look back. I only went back to help somebody else. So today is a great, happy new day, and I'm so glad I get to share it with you because He woke you up this morning, breathed life into you this morning, and we are joined here on day 80 of the Free to Hope presents 12 steps applied to COVID-19. What does FREE stand for? From recovery, emerge empowered. To give hope to others, help others prosper equally. And for that, I am truly, truly grateful that He spared my life, even when I didn't think I knew Him. That's right. It was through the 12 steps, spiritual in nature, adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous over 80 years ago, that I found a God of my understanding who is loving and caring and wants nothing but for me to achieve my God-given destiny and to live on His purpose, which is to be of service to others. So I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud and faithful member for 31 years today. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Yes. Every day is a new day. Every day is a holiday. Every day I get to thank my higher power for not only delivering me, but members of my family from the devastation of drug addiction, because my mom had 4 addicted out of her 6 at one time. There are still members of my family, my nieces and nephews, who are struggling with addiction. And 8 of us, me included, have survived COVID-19. And so this special day, this anniversary day, I not only get to acknowledge my higher power, who I choose to call God, and acknowledge the 12-step programs that are simultaneously being used around the world in any and all areas of life. And I want to also acknowledge my mother, Helen Jones Hall Taylor. Yes, because I had a praying mother. There she go right there in the red. And so I'm wearing her outfit today. Yes, she was a dressing little something. But I had a praying mother. And so I must give homage to the woman that God chose for me to come through. Who chose for me to be nurtured by. I give homage to my mother. Yes. Helen Jones Lamar Hall Taylor. And I give homage to my family, who also endured a lot through my addiction to alcohol, drugs, prostitution, lying and stealing, scheming, manipulating, everything that goes with it. But when I entered the recovery process on February the 23rd of 1990, they had their doubts, they had their fears, but they didn't know that the God who I now know came through me, presented himself through me, and said, no, this is it. We ain't turning back. You have a made up mind. I'm going to relieve that compulsion and obsession from you right now from underneath that parked car. Yes, it's 3:00 in the morning. You're in the streets of Philadelphia underneath a parked car after getting high and doing all kinds of sexual favors with your stepson. And I, as your creator, I, as your God, I, as your father, deemed enough is enough. And unbeknownst to you, that spirit that is within you is me. And I had you cry out, whoever they say you are, which is me, take me out this life now or show me a better way. I will. That you would have a made up mind. And that's what it's going to take. That's what it will take. That's what it took for you to have that knee-bowing experience underneath that parked car, for you to call out to me, whoever you say I am, take me out this life or show me a better way. And my creator said, no, I'm not going to take you out. I'm going to prepare you. I'm going to mold you. I'm going to reshape you because I can use you. Therefore, the obsession and compulsion is lifted. You have a made-up mind, and you will allow me to show you a better way. Woo! Thank you, Lord, right? And so, even though my family members had some skepticism and some fears, even my son, he still wonders if today is the day I'm going to pick up again. But guess what? The relationship that I have developed with the God of my understanding, and I'm talking about a personal relationship, not one that is, full of this and that. And no, it is a personal relationship that I have established over the years to be sitting here before you, being prepared for things yet to come, because recovery is about being prepared for what he wants you to do. And so I thank God that I had and have a made-up mind that no matter what, even COVID-19, I will not look back, only to go back and help somebody else. That may be you. That may be one of your loved ones. I don't know. My job is to be the seed planter and let him decide who are the chosen ones. So yes, I believe and know I have been chosen. And as a result of celebrating 31 years today, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. Oh, Lord. I tell you, boy, my mama, my dad, my family, to some extent, but my mama. Oh, I miss her. But God prepared me to take care of her and 6 other family members on hospice before they all transitioned. I had no idea that I would get to return the favor of taking care of my mom. But I'm so glad this 12-step program helped me to do that. And so I may be off track a little bit because it's our anniversary. And listen, I just want to kick it. I just want to present to you the beautiful spiritual transformation that is waiting for you, and embarking upon the 12 steps that are spiritual in nature. Yes, Dr. Carl Jung, Dr. Bob, and Bill W., the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, recognize that we with the disease of addiction and alcoholism The medical field is limited. The religious field can't touch it. But what we need is divine providence, divine intervention, and divine light, which will bring about a spiritual experience, which will produce a spiritual awakening, which will increase your spiritual maturity to obtain that psychic change, that no matter what we go through here in this bodily form, on this earthly journey, if we learn, apply, and practice the 12 spiritual principles and use them from a spiritual angle to combat these physical conditions, yes, we will celebrate. We will have a happy new day. We will live a joyous, free, peaceful, tranquil life in spite of what's going on. And I can attest to that. And having survived COVID-19, my God said, I got something else for you to do. Because I know you should know that you are work in progress, Edwina, but you are a great attraction. You are a great example of yielding. And as your Father, your Creator, your God, I only ask that you yield. Because I know the beginning, the middle, the end of everything, everywhere, and everybody. And so when I contributed to contracting COVID-19 back in November of 2020, and I contributed to infecting my family members as young as 2 years old, up until 78 years old, my Creator had to remind me, Edwina, you forgot something, didn't you? You kind of smelling yourself, aren't you? You're taking this COVID-19 for granted, huh? You're being a little resistant to wearing a mask, washing your hands, social distancing, right? Getting tested, let alone getting a vaccine shot, right? You, Edwina, had that attitude that you are invincible. So, Edwina, I need to remind you as your Creator, your God, your Father, that you still need me. And ultimately, I already know you're going to want me. And so by going through COVID-19 after contributed to contracting it and infecting some of my family members, you better believe it was revealed to me, Edwina. Okay, let's try this again, but this time I want you to apply the 12 spiritual steps to COVID-19. I want you not only to apply it to COVID-19, I want you to share it on this platform that I have availed to you to share with other people, so that anybody who thinks like you, who is operating with that mindset like you, can be challenged and hopefully convinced that this COVID-19 is real. It's not the first pandemic man has endured, and it won't be the last. But Edwina, I can use you. I can use you to save one more life, to save one more family, to save one more culture, to contribute to one more community, one more city, one more country, one more state. And when all of my children have this knee-bowing experience, which they are simultaneously and collectively, I'm waiting for all of them to cry out, help me, help me. And for those who can cry out to help me, I'm going to use people like you, Edwina, to help them using you and on. So when I talk about being given an assignment, a spiritual assignment, on this day of celebratory of my 31 years in a 12-step program. You wonder why back in April the 1st of 2020, I set before you presenting the 12 steps, experience, strength, hope, and wisdom. In the beginning, it was a world tour. I had scheduled places to present, to facilitate, to teach, right? To host about my experience, strength, hope, and wisdom, and the benefits of these 12-step programs, right? And then come along what? COVID-19. And my idea was, okay, God, I celebrated 30 years, which was the kickoff of my free tour From Recovery, Emerge, Empowered, to give hope to others, help others prosper equally, using the 12 spiritual principles created by the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, right? I had a vision that God gave me. And no matter what life, what obstacles, challenges life presents to us, to me, he tells me, shows me I am still in control, and you are still going to get that word out. You are still going to share your experience, your strength, your hope, and your wisdom of the benefits of the 12 spiritual programs. Not religious and not medical. I got all that. But I know that y'all are spirit just like I am, and you're only in a physical state, but the spirit that I gave you is housed in this physical body. Therefore, I know your spirit. I know you. And so don't let anything or anybody stop you from doing what I called you to do. So, Edwina, you won't be able to go on tour physically, but there's another way you can reach out to help my people. And he presented to me, right, the idea in an article from Dr. Scott T. Allison on March the 31st in an article written in Psychology Today that stated, we during this COVID-19 can benefit from the wisdom of 12-step programs. So, Edwina, as your God, as your creator, as your father, as your director, the one who orders your steps, I want you to hit that go live button on April the 1st of 2020 and continue what I started for you to do. And that is to share your experience, your strength, your hope, your wisdom about what I, the creator, can do for people like you, because I, the creator, can use broken, wounded, and shattered people like you, Edwina, and like others to rescue wounded, shattered, and broken people like you, Edwina, and like others. So therefore, this article will prompt you, and I will prepare you to hit that go live button on April the 1st of 2020, presenting the 12 spiritual principles as we, as you all, as a human race, are confronted with this newest pandemic. Because as I said, this is the creator. It's not the first, and nor will it be the last. But for right now, with this pandemic, I want to use you, Edwina. Everybody else is doing their thing. I'm using everybody else in other situations, forms, and fashions. But I want to use you like this, because I know who you are. I created you. I know you are transparent. I know you are cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. I know you don't mind telling the truth. As a matter of fact, I know you like telling the truth. And I need you. Yes. So I'm going to prepare you as I have been doing for the past 31 years to share with others that no matter what they go through on this earthly journey in this physical body, that I am the Father, I am the Creator, I am God of everything, everybody, everywhere. And therefore, you are chosen. I have chosen you to share your experience, your strength, your hope, and your wisdom as of April the 1st of 2020. And I began to do my morning podcast. And if you go back to the early days of when I did my podcast, my lighting was off, my camera wasn't working, but I kept on going. I kept on telling. I kept on sharing my testimony, no matter what the conditions were. It didn't matter if you saw me. The point is that you heard me, and hopefully you listened to me. Listen to God through me. Because if we ain't listen. All I do is open my mouth, right? Can I share something with you, right? Listen, I have a TV talk show called Choosing a New Way of Life, right? And it's going on 28 years. And I remember when I was first interviewed about doing the show, and they brought me on to share my experience, my strength, and my hope. And I remember the cameraman, Dr. Benjamin Twimby Brown. Dr. Benjamin Twimby Brown, let me acknowledge him too, because if it wasn't for God using Dr. Benjamin Twimby Brown here in Wilmington, Delaware, I would not be sitting here before you. God uses people for his purpose, and he used Dr. Benjamin Twimby Brown to mold me, to coach me, to teach me how to make the positive outshine the negative, how to share the information to the community to help somebody else. So when Dr. Brown put me in front of that camera, and Naila Gilliam, she was the one who interviewed me about doing commentaries on Channel 28 on a cable channel. And I remember him saying, "Okay, Edwina, we're getting ready to start. I'm going to give you a cue of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action." Okay, so listen. He said, "Okay." I said, okay. He said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. I said, "Cut." He said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I got to go to the bathroom." I got to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom all nervous, all scared and everything. And I went back out there. He said, "You okay?" I said, I'm okay, right? He said, "Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action." I said, "Cut." He said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Listen, I got to go back to the bathroom." I was so nervous, right? And so I came back out, and he said, "Okay, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action." I said, "Cut. I can't do this." I went to the bathroom, and I got on that. I was like, "God, I can't do this. I can't do this. Help me, help me." And that voice came to me, and it says, "When you go out there, you just open your mouth. That's all you got to do." So when I went back out there, he said, "Edwina, you ready? You ready? You ready?" And I said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. Voila. And I've been talking ever since. I've been opening up my mouth ever since, only for the purpose of allowing God to talk through me about what he can do, about what he did for me in order to help somebody else. So with Scott T. Allison, right? Benjamin Twimby Brown, right? I'm going to mention now Jason Waller, right? He has a breakdown of all the 12 steps, right? and myself, who is willing to do and be obedient to my Father's direction. And so it was during that time that people were talking more about COVID-19 and February and March. And that's when Dr. Scott T. Allison wrote that article. And I hit that button on April the 1st, came before y'all every morning. Even during the evening sometime with a mock version of what an open AA meeting is like. Okay. And as a result, I began to hear but not listen more to the effects, impact, outcome, and fatalities of COVID-19, the projections and all that. But guess what? I subconsciously, that manifested itself consciously, had a idea or a attitude of being invincible. It's happening to those people, not me. It's affecting those families, not mine. And with that attitude of being nonchalant and being invincible, I did not take COVID-19 seriously. I did not practice consistently washing my hands, social distancing, right? Wearing a mask, Oh, none of that. No, I did not. If anything, I was on image time. Oh, I can't wear a mask. No, I can't mess up my hair. No. See, my self-will, even in the midst of me practicing these 12 spiritual principles in all my affairs, I chose not to use them and apply them to COVID-19. So what happened? I contracted COVID-19. So it came by way of my granddaughter, 7-year-old granddaughter, who infected her 75-year-old granddad, who came to my house and infected other grandchildren and ultimately affected me. Yes, I affected my 2-year-old grandson. So you see, by having that feeling of being invincible, of having that feeling of not taking COVID-19 for granted and thinking it won't happen to me, it did. And so my creator said, no problem, Edwina. I'm going to use you even the more, because when you contracted COVID-19, you don't look like what you look like now. You don't look like what you've been through. So I want you on December the 3rd of 2020 to go before these same people and show them what COVID-19 looks like on you. Y'all from Missouri? Y'all want to see? Yeah. Y'all want to see what COVID looked like on me? All right, let me show you. All right, here it is. That's me right there on December the 3rd, right? Sweating. Thank God I didn't have a fever. I didn't have my pearly white dentures in, right? My body ached like a toothache. My hair was all over the place. I told you I took them doggone dentures out, right? I couldn't smell, I couldn't taste, nor could I breathe. I could not breathe to my fullest capacity. Let me show you. I could not smell. I could not taste. I could not swallow. So yes, what you saw in that picture, my God said, go in front of them just as you are. Let them know that all those masks that they are wearing, that you have been wearing and you have been taking off, that you need to continue taking off and put on the mask that's designed to save your life. And so as a result of December the 3rd, which is now day 80 of surviving COVID-19, and I presented me going through the process in the journey, right? Still having the signs and symptoms, still isolating and being quarantined, still have to get tested. And guess what? When I finally took my test, my third test that was nasal, right? Because I had got a false positive through the mouth, and my daughter recommended that, Mom, go and get the nasal one. That's more accurate. So I got the nasal one, and guess what? On my birthday, when I turned 65 on December the 16th of 2020, I got my notification that I was negative. I was negative on my birthday. It could have been my death. It could have been my death. But I got notification that I was negative. And so if you go back to day 1 of 80, you will see the journey, you will see the process, and you will see how I have been sharing with you one day at a time, different points, different perspectives, my experience, my strength, my hope, my wisdom, my lack of wisdom, my decisions, my choices, my actions, both bad and good, on how I contributed to contracting COVID-19. So you better believe now, and since that time, I have been washing my hands, wearing my mask, social distancing, getting tested, contact tracing, and I recently got the vaccine shot. 1 of 2, right? So are you still from Missouri? Let me show you. Come on now, listen. Here I go. That's me getting my shot from Dr. Coker, Joan Coker here in Wilmington, Delaware. Yes. I ain't afraid of needles, because during my addiction, I had to get all kinds of needles for STDs and this and that. Yes. So I ain't afraid of the needle. So I'm waiting to be contacted to get my second shot and have a booster. So you see, that's why God, I know, uses me. And I love it when he used me and order my steps, because he know I want to do his will. If he removed that obsession and that compulsion from drinking and drugging, prostituting, and all the associated ideas, attitudes, behaviors, action, choices, then he can remove any and everything that prevents me from taking the simple suggestions of the CDC's recommendations. And that's why he wanted me to share with you how we as a human race can apply these 12 spiritual principles to stop the perpetuation of COVID-19 effects, outcomes, fatalities, one person, one family, one culture at a time. If we do it simultaneously in a holistic approach and manner, we can, we will, we must stop the perpetuation of this devastating COVID-19 and its variants, because even with that vaccine shot, it doesn't prevent you from contracting COVID-19 or infecting others. My research tells me that the vaccine only decreases the severity of the symptoms should I contract COVID-19, thereby reducing the possibility of me being hospitalized from COVID-19. And third, reduce the percentage of me dying from COVID-19. So yes, I'm on this quest to share this information, to encourage you to apply the 12 spiritual principles that will challenge your old existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, choices, decisions, in general, but now specifically to COVID-19 in taking these simple CDC suggestions. Why? To save your life, the life of your loved ones, my life, to save lives. In a 12-step program, we always ask, are you willing to save your behind, or are you willing to save your face? Are you willing to wear the various masks that you've been wearing all your life? Or do you want to wear the mask that will save your life? I can't imagine what those individuals are going through who have lost loved ones to COVID-19. I can't imagine. But I am willing to talk to them. I am willing to interview them so that they can share their experience, their strength, their hope, their wisdom, their lack of wisdom, their choices, their decisions, both good and bad. And they will, in essence, tell you about the if I coulda, woulda, shoulda, what they would have done differently for their loved ones to be here. We just commemorated, not even commemorated, but we acknowledged over 500,000 souls. And there are more coming. There are. And those are the ones that are reported. You can multiply that number twice, because not everyone's situation and everyone's circumstances around the world is being reported. But we're talking about here in the United States alone, over 500,000. And you mean to tell me, and I needed to tell me, Edwina, come on, goo, come on, boo-boo, come on. Get off of image time and save your behind and save the lives of your loved ones and save the next human being. As our president from Delaware, Joseph R. Biden, he says, we are all in this together. And our creator of us all saying, you are all in this together. If you don't find a way to take care of one another, if you don't have the desire, the willingness to help your fellow man, it's up to you. What are you going to do? Are you in the prevention mode, the intervention mode, or restoration mode of COVID-19? Are you being proactive, reactive, inactive, or responsible regarding COVID-19? What part are you playing? I am doing my part by being transparent, by being honest, by being direct, by sharing with you all the mistakes that I made. I'm listening to the mistakes others have made to help you and prevent you from making the same mistakes. Not because you hear us, but because you are willing to listen. The lady said on the TV this morning, like many of us, it didn't become real until it happened to her and her family. Is that what it's going to take for you? Or are you going to be like us in a 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Lust Anonymous, Al-Anon Anonymous, Alateen Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous? And all those fellowships, they all use the same spiritual principles. And when they all come together, when we all come together, we listen intently to the experience, strength, and hope and wisdom of everyone, from a person who has a couple of hours in sobriety to a person like me who has 31 years. Before my sponsor died, she had 56 years in recovery. Before her sponsor died, she had 90 years in recovery. So we take this disease of alcoholism seriously because we learn not to give anything or anybody that much power ever again. For me to go back underneath that parked car, oh, hell to the no. And so if I apply that same intense, vigilant attitude towards COVID-19, then I can not only save my life, the lives of my loved ones, but yours too, because you're listening. You don't have to go through what we have gone through. You don't have to. But they also say in our fellowship that some of us are constitutionally incapable of being honest with ourselves. It says they are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. Are you naturally incapable of being honest that this COVID-19 is real? Are you? And that's why we present these 12 spiritual principles to challenge your old and existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors. So that you can see the need and then have the want to be a part of the solution and not the part of the problem. To be responsible for saving your lives, the lives of others, and the lives of your loved ones, opposed to having regret and remorse of taking a life. So I thank God that through his direction of choosing me 31 years ago from underneath that parked car, an answer to my mother's prayers of her 4 out of 6 children who were addicted at the same time, and Edwina, I was the worst, that she constantly prayed, and eventually she had to let go and let God do what he needed to do in our lives. To be presented to a 12-step program that is spiritual in nature, through the walls of facilities, detox, rehabs, sometimes jail. Our Creator plants seeds all over the place and plant seed planters everywhere so that each and every human being that he has created can get to hear what he's able to do. So I thank God for the facilities. I thank God for all the supportive programs, because we never know when the student is ready so that the teachers can appear. And I thank God that I was introduced to the 12-step program in a drug and alcohol rehabilitation facility. Even though I didn't stop then, the seed was planted. And then when the student in me became ready, he put me on a pathway to recovery. A pathway to recovery where I came in with my hands all the way up. Whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do. Wherever you tell me to go, I'm going to go. No matter how long it takes, I stand in a total surrender position. And when I see ego and pride trying to slip back in, I put those hands way back up. I remember being underneath that parked car. When I start smelling myself or thinking I got it in control, I put my hands back up. Because I'm reminded that it wasn't me who delivered me, it was my Creator. And so if he did that for drugs and alcohol, and he did it for me for COVID-19, what is my responsibility? To share it with somebody else. And that's what I'm doing with you. So being set on a pathway to recovery and practicing these principles in all my affairs. And as life begins to deal us a deck of cards every day, when we learn, apply, and practice these spiritual principles, we can deal with any physical condition. As Donald Lawrence says, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. No, you are a spiritual being living and walking and encased in this natural experience. So being set on a pathway to recovery, not looking back, only looking back to help somebody else find out more about me, which is why those 12 steps are designed to challenge our old and existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors. Present us with this spiritual information that will generate a spiritual experience, help you obtain a spiritual awakening, increase your spiritual maturity so that you can have that psychic change, to be restored to sanity, soundness of mind, doing things for the right reason, the spiritual reason, particularly when it comes to COVID-19. Addressing your defiance, addressing your stubbornness, addressing your self-centeredness, addressing your selfishness. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me. And you have to be honest with yourself. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. That's what I had to be. That's what I had to do in order for me to have 31 years, but one day at a time. And now applying these spiritual principles to COVID-19, you better believe I am as honest as I possibly can. I am truly open-minded because I no longer hear, I am listening, and I'm willing to do what is suggested. See, that's the key. They are suggestions. Same thing in a 12-step program. They are suggestions because they know that humans, for whatever reason, have this have this thing of not like being told what to do, even babies, you know. Nobody like to be dictated to. So the knowledge from the Washingtonian group and the Oxford group showed the Alcoholics Anonymous group that guess what? We're not going to say or force you to do or believe anything. We're only going to make suggestions. And here's one thing that we use often. If we plan on going out and parachuting for the day, we all get in the plane, and it is recommended, it is suggested that you put on a parachute if you plan to jump. Even if you don't plan to jump, to put on a parachute. Just a suggestion. So when it comes time to jump, I'll say to you, well, I took their suggestion and I put on the parachute. Are you going to take their suggestion? And you say, no. I said, okay. Well, I'll meet you down below in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Suggestions. It is challenging us to say, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You make the decision about what you want to do, what you should do, and what you're going to do. You make the suggestion. You tell yourself. And so as a result of being a part of these 12 steps that are spiritual in nature, we learn that. And we're going to apply it to COVID-19. We can learn from our own experience. That's a smart person, but a wise person learns from their experience and the experiences of others. So if you want to talk to any of those reported 500,000 plus families who have lost loved ones to COVID-19, is that enough information? Is that enough wisdom for you to listen? For you not to take this COVID-19 for granted? There by the grace of God, there go I. There by the grace of God, there go you. There by the grace of God, there go my loved ones. There by the grace of God, there go your loved ones. Wouldn't you want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem? So these steps are spiritual in nature so that you can achieve that psychic change to do the next right thing regarding COVID-19. Washing your hands, wearing a mask, social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested, getting the vaccination shot, and repeating that cycle where applicable. Because one thing that we as human beings do, we don't take the medication for 7 days like it is prescribed. We stop taking it once we feel a little better. Well, if they prescribed it for 7 days, it's for a reason. So that you don't have a relapse. You don't have a reoccurrence. To build up some more resistance, huh? But no, we know everything. I'm feeling good. I'm good. And then we wonder why we're back in the hospital or we relapse, right? Because it says continuously, consistently, don't pick and choose. Because the minute we drop our guard, the second we drop our guard, not even a minute, boom, you can have it and you can infect other people, right? All right, so I had an agenda, but I also have an anniversary today. And I wanted to share with you like a one-on-one, but I interjected some things that we've been talking about. And I just want to encourage you from the depth of my soul, from the essence of my spirit, for you to go to. All right, so let me do a couple things. First, let me do this one. Go to Dr. Scott T. Allison's article in Psychology Today, right? And where he talks about 7 points from an Al-Anon perspective. This is the resource I want you to go look up. And the March the 31st, 2020 edition, where he wrote an article on 7 points on how wisdom of the 12-step programs can help get us through April of 2020. Now we're in a new year, a new month, and a new day. But he emphasizes from an Al-Anon 12-step program, letting go of control, patience, keeping the focus on oneself, trust, living in the present, social connections, and service to others. And so when we talk about Dr. Scott T. Allison's article back in March of 2020, that's what prompted me to start my podcast on April the 1st of 2020. So if you want to see any of them, please go to my Facebook page. I'm uploading them on YouTube. I am expanding it, as you can see, on StreamYard. I want to give this information free to as many people as I can. And in order to do that, I am soliciting sponsors. So sponsors that are supporting me now include Crafty Crab Seafood, where I am having my anniversary dinner today. It's in Wilmington, Delaware. It's a newly opened restaurant They have crabs and seafood galore. They are practicing the CDC suggestions for a restaurant, and I will be there to celebrate my 31 years in recovery, eating what I like the most, and that's seafood with some water. Nah, I'll probably get a fruit punch. Right? And so my other sponsors include Free to Hope. From recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others. Help others prosper equally, LLC. Women do haul transportation services, right? Mr. C's Barbershop, he's responsible for my crown that I'm wearing. Morgans of Delaware and Lady T at Morgans of Delaware. I wear their attire most of the time. Jewelry by Catherine Butler. And as I mentioned, Divine Light, Inc., a recovery treatment center that provides supportive housing. And I credit my resources to Scott T. Allison and Jason Waller. So I want to, again, encourage you, if you want to be a sponsor, let me put that back up again. If you want to be a sponsor, please follow the information that's down below, and you can also be a sponsor. All right. So here it is. Contact me at edwina.bell@yahoo.com or 302-690-6679. Cash at me to $ Free to Hope, and the funds will be used to buy upgraded equipment, pay for additional media outlets and platforms so that we can give this information out free. Freely we receive, freely we give, okay? And so, well, what I want to do before I close out is, again, thank you for allowing me to sit before you since April the 1st of 2020, presenting my 12-step experience, strength, hope, and wisdom of the spiritual principles adopted and created by Alcoholics Anonymous, as well as allow me to sit before you to share with you how applying these 12 spiritual principles to COVID-19 has helped to save my life, the lives of my loved ones, and hopefully yours. I recently sent a submission to Jason Waller to participate in a virtual fundraiser, and in that virtual registration, I put in the comment that I would love to interview him and let him know how we are learning, benefiting from the information that he uses on his podcast and website, jasonwaller.com. And also, I want to interview Dr. Scott T. Allison, because it was God who used both of them for me to sit before you, and hopefully you can sit before others to share that we do recover. We can be a part of the solution. We can stop the perpetuation of COVID-19's effect, impact, outcomes, and fatalities, right? So you need to determine if you are in the prevention, intervention, or restoration mode of COVID-19. Are you being proactive, reactive, inactive regarding COVID-19? And one of the things that I often ask people is to just, for 30 seconds, I normally do this in the beginning, but the Spirit is having me do it now. Join me in 30 seconds with a moment of silence to our Creator, to the 500 plus thousand who have succumbed to the fatalities of COVID-19, and any and everyone, which includes the entire human race, that we pay homage to them, to us, with 30 seconds of silence. Join me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share my 31 years addiction free with you. Thank you for allowing me to share day 80 of being COVID-19 free and hopes of planting one seed so that you can plant a seed as well. We want to thank you and we want to encourage you to be safe. Be safe, and if it's God's will that we are rejoined tomorrow for day 81, He breathed life into us, He wake us up, we will be reunited. Have a blessed day, make the best of it, and it can be a happy new day if you choose to apply the 12 steps in all your affairs and particularly to COVID-19. All right, be safe.